Hi, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jen and I'm delighted to meet you. Normally, if I'm filming, I'll kind of go out of my way to put on a little makeup, do my hair a little, change it to something a little better than scrubs, but what we're going to talk about today is very important. There is nothing else more important that I do today, in my opinion, so it is going to happen right here, right now, regardless of all of this. I've been sharing my struggles and my triumphs with diet. Lately, it's been a lot of struggles more than triumphs, but I've been sharing that for over 2 years now. And without a doubt, my biggest struggle has been binge eating. Now, that goes way back. This is not a new thing for me. This has been going on for 25 years. But I thought I had a handle on it, and it turns out I definitely did not. Well, last night I binged again. But you know what? This is the very first time in my life that I can say that was the last time I will ever binge again. I have never said that before, nor have I even thought that or even contemplated there could be really a last binge. It was always just more this, okay, I won't do it anymore, but not like that was the last one. It probably seems like there's not a difference there, but there is, okay? So let's get into it. I'm normally not super aware of my feelings during a binge, though I can normally recall what I ate and maybe a little bit of the sequence of events, but never very in tune to how I was feeling, why I did this, all of that. It's just more like my rational thinking gets turned off and I turn into this maniac who's just running off impulse and instinct. Last night was different, and maybe the actual actions were not different. In the moment was not different, but I reflected on it right after so I can recall everything. Kind of like when you first wake up from a dream, if you write it down right away, you can remember a lot of details, but if you don't do that later on, it's a very fuzzy memory. That's probably the best way to describe this. In order for me to explain this well, I really need to start at the beginning of the day yesterday so I can show you how one innocent little decision led to another, until those decisions were much less innocent. And by the end of the day, I was sneaking food, hiding everything I did, and then wrapping up wrappers tightly in trash and stuffing them at the very bottom of the trash can. So yesterday morning, I went to the gym and I had a lifting session, and I took with me some flavored electrolytes. So just an innocent little Element flavored electrolyte packet. I think it was probably raspberry or grapefruit because those are the ones I really like. And I enjoy that during my workout, and I keep trying to convince myself that even though it's sweetened with stevia, that it doesn't cause sweet cravings for me. Now, I just want to also point out, I'm not blaming everything on the electrolytes, but I don't think it helped. And I also ate breakfast before the gym. So I was fully satiated by the time I got there. Then when I got home, even though I was not hungry, I decided to cook myself some bacon. So I made 5 slices of bacon in the air fryer. And these are big, thick slices of bacon. And I also had bacon with my breakfast. So there's really no excuse for it other than I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna have some bacon. Then the funny thing is, I was on a chat with Courtney Luna. You probably know her from YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all the things. She and I were talking about the struggles of overeating and binge eating and weight loss plateaus and just all the things that we've both experienced. And I was sharing with her my struggles with binge eating. And not 10 minutes after I got off that phone call with her, it wasn't a phone call, it was a voice memo thing. But anyway, not 10 minutes afterwards, I made myself some more bacon. 5 more slices of bacon. Now, at this point, that's not even a binge, okay? But I was making decisions that were not good ones. I was not hungry. I certainly, if I was, didn't need to eat more bacon, but that's exactly what I did. Now, at this point, I was not completely out of control or really even out of control at all. I was very aware of my decisions, but it's kind of like, when your cat looks at you right in the face and then swats your little thing off the table. Like they're looking at you saying, F you, I could do whatever I want. It was very much like that. A little bit after the lunch hour, I went on a bike ride with a friend, and this was a pretty good, hard bike ride. We were biking for about 90 minutes, and I was really tired by the end. I mean, I was kind of dying by the end, actually. But I performed fine. I think the fuel that I'd had, which was my breakfast and then all that bacon, it was fine. I probably burned it all off while I was biking. But as we were driving away from the trailhead, my friend was snacking on pistachios. And I was thinking, oh, those pistachios sure look good. I used to love pistachios. They're not the worst thing. I mean, I know they're not carnivore, but it's whole food, and maybe I could just have a few pistachios. That's kind of the whole conversation I was having with myself in the van when I should have been enjoying my time with my friend as we were driving away from our fun bike ride. Well, I basically didn't stop thinking about those pistachios all freaking afternoon. So by late afternoon, I decided I'm gonna treat myself with a little indulgence. I'm gonna run to the grocery store, and since I'm there, I'm gonna grab some of my favorite brats, which are basically carnivore anyway. I mean, they are carnivore, but the ones I like are pineapple brats, so they certainly have a little bit of sugar. So good. But anyway, so I got some brats and I got myself some pistachios, and I thought, what harm could it do? I mean, this is barely even swaying from my carnivore diet. It's a whole food. Yeah, it's not carnivore. I just went on this long bike ride. It's okay. If you don't see enough dumb decisions in the day, there's more, don't you worry. So I went to the store to get the brats and the pistachios, and I thought, while I'm here, I'm gonna buy a box of graham crackers and a bag of the 6 or 8 Hershey bars, because a couple weeks ago on a binge, I ate a bunch of the graham crackers and Hershey bars that were stowed away in the back of the cabinet that we keep at the house for when we have guests over for our fire pit to have s'mores. And I know that eventually Matt is gonna look in that bag and see that they're gone. And he's gonna be really upset with me, not only for binging, but for eating all of that and not replacing it. And now we have guests and there's no s'more stuff. So I thought, I'm here, I'll just grab the chocolate and the graham crackers and I'll replace them. No one will ever know. Okay, so up to this point, these were all still decisions I was making with a pretty rational mind, though stupid decisions. But this is where things start to turn a little bit. So I got actually to a second store because one store didn't have what I wanted. And at that second store, they have my favorite Starbucks. And I thought, you know what? One time, just probably, after this, I'll get back on track with my carnivore diet. I'm just gonna stop at Starbucks. I'm gonna grab a couple of my favorite indulgences. No, they're not carnivore at all, but it's like, it's okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and then we'll start fresh tomorrow. So I got a coffee, and then I got 2 marshmallow dream bars, which you've heard me mention those before if you're not new here. I don't know what it is about those dang things, but I'm like obsessed with them. And then I got this chocolate bar. It's Who chocolate, so it's really freaking expensive for this tiny chocolate bar. And it's so healthy, so I don't have to feel guilty about it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I got the marshmallow dream bars, the chocolate bar, and then of course I had the pistachios, and then everything else I bought was regular, the brats, some heavy cream, stuff like that. Matt actually called me while I was at the grocery store. So that's when I started to feel a little anxious. Like, this is definitely secretive stuff that I'm doing. I don't want him to know what I'm buying. Please God, don't let him ask, because I don't want to lie, but I probably would have. I absolutely would have. Not probably, I would have lied. And he told me that he was going to be coming home from work early, so he was already on his way, which totally messed up my plans. I needed to get home, eat all this food in secret, and then I would be done. I'd be back on track for the day. I would just have a healthy dinner, my brats, and then I would go about my life, and tomorrow's a new day. I'll do my meal prepping, and that's that. Well, since he kind of got that anxiety going by calling me, I decided I needed to start in my car. So I got out to the car in the parking lot. I had one of the marshmallow dream bars and the chocolate bar, and I saw a car drive by that looked like his, and I was like, oh no, what if he's coming? He's gonna catch me, he's gonna see me. So I'm like hiding it in the car, and a big truck pulled up next to me, and they were kind of watching me. I'm sure I looked like a lunatic opening and eating multiple snacks in my car. I've been in this position many times before, but still, it's always embarrassing, but I also don't care because I'm just so involved in the eating of the junk food. So since he was coming home, my plan changed. I drove home, I hid the wrappers from the food that I'd eaten in the car. So I crumpled up the chocolate bar and the marshmallow dream bar wrapper and shoved it under my seat. And then the Hershey bar packet, the graham crackers, the other marshmallow dream bar, and the pistachios, I left in this big bag in my car because I had this new plan. He had a company coming over, so as soon as they got here to help him with some stuff on the fence in the backyard, I was gonna sneak out to my car, grab all my snacks, not the graham crackers and the Hershey bars, but the pistachios and the marshmallow dream bar, grab it, stick it in the pocket of my hoodie, and then go for a long walk with Lucy while he was with his friend, and I would just enjoy my snacks and live my life. Well, that didn't work out as planned because his friend was late, so he was outside in the driveway working on stuff, which meant my stuff was in jail in the car. I couldn't get to my things without him seeing. So then he goes in to go to the bathroom, and I'm like hurrying, trying to get my stuff out of my car into my pocket, but I needed to be really careful about it because, I mean, you can't fit too much in one of those pockets of a sweatshirt without someone seeing. So I was trying to be really stealthy, and then he came out, gosh dang it, right when I was trying to get my stuff. So I couldn't get it. It was still in the bag of my car. And I don't know for sure, but I feel like he was like, what is going on, lady? Like, why are you being weird? He didn't ask, but that's the vibe I got. Or maybe I was just being self-conscious for a good reason. Well, then I went to go ahead and start out on my walk, realized I left my phone in the house, but he was closer to the door than me, so he went in to get it, and I was just praying to God, please don't let my phone be in my purse. And then Matt goes to get it from my purse, and there's a bunch of junk food wrappers in there, which I didn't remember if there were or not. I mean, it was all just like so hectic and just so anxiety filled. You know, your heart is in your chest. It's so ridiculous, but that's how I was feeling. Well, my phone was not in my purse. Man, I'm like reliving it right now. My phone wasn't in my purse, so he got my phone, he handed it to me, and I wasn't caught. I got away with it. Whew. So I left for my walk, keeping a very close eye on the block to see if his friend was coming so I could come back, sneak and grab my food, and then continue my walk. So I have my big old pocket full of pistachios and a marshmallow dream bar, and as soon as I got out of eyesight from where Matt could possibly see me if he came around to the front, I opened up my marshmallow dream bar and scarfed it down, and then I opened my bag of pistachios and just, you know, eating the whole time I'm walking for 30 minutes or whatever. And what's crazy is I don't even know that I really tasted any of that. I used to love pistachios, and I definitely love those marshmallow dream bars, but you can't really taste the food when you're just a ball of anxiety and excitement all in one. It's just, you're tasting that more than you're tasting the food. And that's what I was experiencing. Now I realized that I needed to stop eating right around the time that I would turn the corner to get back on Matt's block. And so I had a little bit of pistachios left. I just put them in my pocket, hoped that Matt wouldn't see that little bulge or that wrapper. And I had just pistachio skin all over my white sweatshirt. So I'm like cleaning it off as much as I can, wiping my face, making sure I don't have anything in my teeth, you know, just so self-conscious about how I'm going to appear when he sees me. And then when I got home, his friend was gone and he was back in the driveway. So I was like, what if he sees this in my pocket or whatever? So what I did was I went straight to my trunk of my car, grabbed a box that was out of there and held it to my stomach so that he couldn't get it close enough to kiss me and see there was something on my breath, but also so I could smush the stuff to my stomach so he wouldn't see my wrappers. Now, once I got inside, I took all the trash and I wrapped it up in other trash and stuffed it in the bottom of the trash can, so Matt would never find it. And I just made sure my appearance was fine. And then I proceeded to make dinner, which was some brats and some cheese. And basically, I wasn't hungry at all, but I was gonna have all of that. But it was carnivore food. I was gonna be back on track. The binge was over. I didn't get caught. Whew, all done. Well, if you've ever been a binge eater, you know it's not done. I was still awake, so it was definitely not done. So maybe an hour later, Matt was sitting on the couch winding down, because now at this point it was like 8 p.m. and I was working in the kitchen on something, and then I realized, oh, I just really want to have some of those chocolate bars that I bought for the s'mores, but they're still out in my car. How am I going to go get those without Matt noticing? So I just kind of like snuck out there and stuffed 2 of the Hershey bars, 2 full-size Hershey bars in my hoodie pocket. And I went back into the kitchen and decided to just eat them secretly. Now, normally in the evening, I would sit with Matt on the couch and we would just hang out and chill and get ready for bed. But I was much too worried about this stupid chocolate. So sat in the kitchen. I was like really secretly, quietly opening the package, sticking my hand in there so I wouldn't crinkle it, folding off like 3 pieces. That's how much is a row. And then I would get them kind of bunched together and look and make sure he wasn't watching, and I'd shove it in my mouth. I did that for an entire chocolate bar. So that probably took 5 minutes. I don't know. But the whole time I was thinking, oh crap, what if he comes in the kitchen? He's going to be like, smells like chocolate. And so I was a ball of anxiety again. This mixture of excitement with anxiety. And so I decided I am not opening this second chocolate bar. I need to get this first one down so he cannot smell the chocolate, and then it'll just be over. I'll put this other one back in the bag later, whatever. Well, of course, again, you know where this is going. So I wrapped up all my stuff in the kitchen, got all my stuff together, holding it against my stomach, walked to the bedroom, and just proceeded to go to the bathroom where I would get ready for bed. So I sat on the toilet and ate an entire other chocolate bar. So disgusting. Some people I know don't even eat in the bathroom, but I'm like sitting on the toilet eating a chocolate bar. And then of course wrapping it up in toilet paper like a tampon or something, shoving it at the very bottom of the trash can, and still praying and hoping that Matt will never find it. So that was my evening. It was very exciting. Not only did I not really enjoy my time with my friend after our bike ride, but then I didn't stay on the phone with Matt when he wanted to talk to me because I was at the grocery store buying crap, and then I didn't spend a relaxing evening just enjoying his company. I didn't let him kiss me when I got back from my walk. Like all of these relationship milestones. I mean, I guess they're not milestones, they're little tidbits of your day, but they're important, and I missed every one of them because I was so much more interested in getting my fix. This is what I mean by I could never recount every single detail of a binge like this because I've never tried. But I think it's really important for me, but also maybe for other people to hear it, like just how ridiculous it is, how it's just, why on earth would you sacrifice the good parts of your life for that? You don't even taste it. You're just a ball of anxiety and excitement. That is not good. And so for me to hear that back, I mean, it just really helps me to recognize how incredibly deviant and not worth it is. Well, after all of that, I just brushed my teeth, got ready for bed, destroyed all the evidence, and then got in bed. But I couldn't sleep. My skin was just burning. You know, I have several psoriasis spots, especially on my legs, from the last several weeks and months of eating badly. It's nothing like it used to be where my whole body was covered, but I have a lot of spots. And so they were just burning and itching, and my heart rate was fast. It always increases like 10, 15, 20 beats per minute after eating like that. And I was hot. So, I mean, I laid in bed for like an hour. Matt was fast asleep, and I just decided to get out of bed because there was no chance of me falling asleep. And so when I got up, that's when I started writing all this down and documenting it. So what was the point of sharing all this? Let me apologize first by saying this is the part of the video where I will be doing a lot of self-reflection and thinking aloud, so forgive me if I'm veering off track a little bit. But the point of all this was that was my very last binge. Now, not in the same way that you have a binge and you say to yourself, this is going to be my last binge. Nope. Also not in the way that you just binged yesterday and today you're like, that was my last one. Now I'm gonna stay carnivore, or I'm gonna do meal prepping, or I'm gonna do whatever. That was my last one. Now I'm good. I know what I'm saying seems like that, but I'm telling you, that was my last binge. I will never binge again. There's a couple reasons why and a couple directions I want to go with this. One is that I've spent my whole life explaining why I binge in a way that takes a lot of the accountability off me. So first of all, these things are true, but it's not the full story. So for example, I binge because when I was 15, I started restricting my diet. My survival instincts kicked in and made me have just irresistible cravings. Then I started eating highly palatable foods and creating a habit hardwired in my brain that when I have urges, I will binge on sugar and highly palatable foods. So that's for sure one reason I binge. Also, I binge because I had barbecue and there surely is like some kind of sugar in the rub. And so even though I'm trying not to eat sugar, getting a little taste of sugar triggered me, and now I can't stop thinking about it. And I binge because I had that Element electrolyte drink mix at breakfast or at the gym, and so that triggered things. Or I binge because I've been meal prepping every day, and so then the one day that I'm not prepared and I don't have anything ready, I just blow it. Or I binge because I have family in town and they bring baked goods and I just cannot resist the urges, and too many urges, they just build up over time and I eventually give in and go away with my binges. Those are all the reasons I binge. But here's the thing, and this is what I recognized in my reflection last night of how this binge went down, what I just told you. And that is, I binge because I decide to binge. Now, I understand there is a hardwiring problem in my brain when it comes to this urge binge habit that started out as a survival instinct. But that brain wiring problem that sends me urges, it can't control my hand, it can't control my arm, it can't control my mouth, it doesn't have a physical person holding a gun to my head. Every single thing that is required for me to physically binge, I'm doing that with my own brain. Okay, so I saw that, and reflecting how my day went, I decided to go to the store. I got caught, didn't really get caught, but Matt called me on the phone and I got nervous. That's because this is a big secret and I know what I'm about to do. And then I get home and I have these snacks hidden in the car and I decide to figure out how to sneak them away and go snack on them alone. And those were all decisions that I made. Now, they were not good decisions. I wasn't really making them with my rational brain. I was giving in to urges and I was making very impulsive decisions, but I was still making decisions. So I will just never again let myself use an excuse of didn't have any food prepped today, or I went to dinner and I had a bite of ice cream and I just couldn't stop. I just see now how ludicrous that is, and I will never do that again. So in the past, when I'm trying to recover from a binge episode, I come up with my plan of I will do this so that I don't binge, okay? I will be 100% carnivore so I don't binge. I will avoid all sweet tastes so I don't binge. I will prep all my food every day for the rest of my life so I don't binge. But I recognize now I need to completely switch that around. I will not binge no matter if I'm carnivore, no matter if I'm prepping food. There's nothing that will ever make me binge, because if I put a contingency on it, this thing that I have to do perfectly so that I don't binge, eventually a day will come where I can't do that thing perfectly. Maybe I'll be in the hospital and I'll be fed hospital food, or maybe I will miss a flight and I'll be stuck at the airport for 2 days, or who knows? Something is going to happen to where I cannot be perfect. And so if I allow myself this expectation that I'll stay perfect so I don't binge, when I'm not perfect, I have an opening to binge. Instead, I've had to really make up my mind that no matter what, I will not binge. Now, that doesn't mean I will always eat what I desire to eat as my healthiest food. Like maybe someday in my life, I'll have an ice cream or whatever. But here's kind of the definition that I have for myself now after all of this, is that if it's something that I need to do secretly, I'm not doing it. If I'm ashamed of it, I'm not doing it. So for example, I don't intend to go eat ice cream. I don't think it's a healthy choice for me. It's just, for many reasons, it's not good, okay? For me. I'm not saying no one should ever eat ice cream, but for me, it's not good. Anyway, the point is, I could eat one ice cream cone or one little ice cream treat thing in front of my family, my boyfriend. Of course, they'd think it's weird because I'm supposed to be carnivore, but I could eat that and not be humiliated. I could not order 3, a banana split, a hot fudge sundae, and an ice cream cone. I could not order all of that and eat that in front of everybody. I'd be humiliated. So that's what I mean. I will not do that. I will not do that secretive eating. That not to say that I'll never eat alone, okay? I will. But if it's something that I would evaluate as I would not do this in front of other people, then I'm not going to do it. I will not decide to do that. Even if I had a sweetened electrolyte drink at my gym sesh, or whatever other thing wasn't perfect. And it's funny how that works. The stopping binge eating is going to help me stick to my plan to be carnivore, okay? Trying to be carnivore so I can stop binging, that's just prolonging the inevitable. Eventually, I'm going to have that issue again. But I think I can be so much more consistent and just have less white knuckling and less straining to stay carnivore because I want to, and because I know it's a good health choice for me if I'm not binging. Here's what I mean by kind of going in circles as I think aloud. To me, everything I said is very distinct and it's all a little bit different. But as the viewer, you might think, you've said the same thing 5 times. that's the case. Sorry about that. Okay, I have so many other things, just analogies that I've thought of through the day today as I've been dissecting this, and I've kind of made myself a couple notes. And so I want to share them a little because I think it's helpful for me. So maybe it'll be helpful for you. So imagine a toddler throwing a huge tantrum at the grocery store because he wants M&Ms. Well, my brain sometimes is that toddler. It's throwing a huge tantrum because it wants me to binge. And so eventually I just freaking give in and do it to shut up that toddler. But if I had a baby, which I hope to someday, and my toddler is throwing a fit in the grocery store, I would like to think that I'm not rewarding him and reinforcing his tendency to throw a huge tantrum by giving him something that's not even good for him. So first of all, I want to protect him from eating the thing that is trash, but more than anything, teach him how to behave. And, it's my responsibility as the higher thinking one. It's my responsibility with my higher thinking brain to my sort of irrational brain to make the right choices to not reinforce that poor behavior. Another thing is when I think of something like doing cocaine, okay, I've never done it. No judgment if you have. I understand a lot of people do that surprises me. But anyway, I never have and I never will. And I don't have any fear of if I go to this party, I might do cocaine, or if this urge hits, I might do it. Like, I'm just never going to. I have no doubt about that. So I'm getting closer now when it comes to binging. I mean, just this last 24 hours, I'm getting closer, but that's where I want to be about binging. I will never do it again. Why would I? That's just silly. Of course I'm not going to do that. I'm getting there, okay? Okay, and then the last thing I want to share is about breathing. Okay, so I've heard a lot of arguments that it's harder to get off sugar than it is to get off cocaine and alcohol and sex. Well, okay, sex is a bad example, but things that you can completely avoid for your entire life and it doesn't have any negative effect on you, supposedly those can be easier to get off of. So pain pills and cocaine and alcohol, you can completely abstain. Whereas food, you obviously need food to live, and so it's just gray. It's a gray area. And so it's just harder, okay? I don't know if that's true. It's a limiting belief for sure. If you believe that, then you're gonna have more struggle to try to abstain from eating drug foods, okay? Sugar, for example. And so what I was thinking of today while I was working is breathing, okay? We obviously have to be able to breathe. It's more important than food. It's the most important, I suppose, is breath. More than water, more than anything. There was a time, for a long time during COVID, when I had to wear an N95 most of the time at work. Okay, so I basically quit taking the stairs for 2 years because it's really hard to have that N95 on, have to breathe all your air through that, and then exert yourself. Now, I honestly kind of forgot where I was going with this, but I think where I was going with this breathing analogy is that with the N95, I could still breathe. But I was making it harder for myself by restricting my airflow. And so with eating, I'm making it harder for myself by indulging in foods that are really sweet, that make me have cravings. Now, it doesn't make me binge, it doesn't make me stop breathing, I guess would be the similarity with the N95. But it's just harder. And so I just have to prepare myself. If I'm wearing the N95, it's going to be harder to breathe. If I'm eating sweets, it's going to be harder to not binge. That doesn't mean I can't do it. It doesn't mean I'm going to die. It's just something I need to be aware of and kind of get through that time until I'm back to breathing freely. Now, that analogy did not work as seamlessly as I'd hoped, but it made really great sense in my head. So when I woke up this morning after my binge, I felt terrible. I mean, I only got about 4.5 hours of sleep last night. My fingers are so puffy, I couldn't even get my ring off. My face is puffy, still is. I had pain in my feet, which is something that I definitely deal with a lot when I'm eating terrible foods, specifically sugar and binge eating. It's like the bones in my feet hurt for my first several steps. It's not plantar fasciitis. Trust me, I'm a PT. It's just like joint achiness. I don't know. And I really did not want to go to the gym. I almost didn't go. I guess today was just good practice making one good decision after another instead of one bad decision after another like yesterday. And so it's led me to this point where I feel like I'm having this revelation. I swear I'm not having a manic episode. I don't struggle with like a bipolar situation, but I do feel like that a little bit. Like I've just unlocked this thing that I'm just amazed by. And I know time will tell, okay? It's been 12 hours since I was binging. Not more than that, more like 18. But I'm just more confident than I've ever been, because I don't know, it's like I just needed to go through that. Now, I definitely am not inviting you to say, okay, I'm gonna have one last binge today and then I'm gonna have the same moment. No. This is like binge moment, rock bottom. Make yourself wallow in it, but not wallow. Really reflect on it and understand it and get to the bottom of kind of your psyche as you were doing it. And I think that can help. Now, once I'm way further out from this, I think I can provide a little bit more guidance, how to help. Right now, I'm just sharing my story. So the last thing I want to say is, when I was at the gym this morning, it was leg day. I'm very strong. My legs are very muscly. And I felt kind of confident, I felt like kind of a badass walking through the gym. I know I was watching this guy next to me doing the same lift as me at the same weight. And, I just felt awesome. And I want to feel like that every day. And I know I can. I just got to stop sabotaging myself. And I don't think I have this like psych issue that makes me self-sabotage. I don't think that. I just have allowed myself to make one excuse after another to make bad decisions. And I'm just not going to do that anymore. So the bottom line is that my last binge of my entire life was on May 15th, 2024. By the time you see this video, we'll be a couple weeks past that. In fact, I have a video coming out before this one that is about how I've been struggling with binging and what my plan is going forward. But my plan was kind of vague. And I'm telling you now, this is black and white. I will not binge again. So, you have my permission to challenge me, to ask me every day, whatever you want to do, just to test me, however you want to handle that. You have my permission to do that. I'm done. So I hope this was helpful. It's definitely helpful for me. I swear I'm going to watch this video like once a week just to keep it fresh in my mind. It's really been one of the most joyous parts of my life to share this, because I never have before, but also one of the hardest for sure. I don't mean this video particularly, but just over the years, just all of these things that I've struggled with when it comes to diet and health and mental health. And so I thank you for coming alongside me during that. If you have any comments or questions, I would love to hear them. I will definitely try to respond to as many as I can. And if you'd like, you're welcome to like this video and subscribe. And I'm gonna have more videos coming out. Hopefully not so much on the topic of my binging, unless it's past binging, because I will not be binging again. But maybe just more reflections as I learn more, as I'm recovering myself. And so I hope to be a really good resource in the future. I think right now, I need to be tested by time a little bit so that I can feel not like an imposter, but I'm gonna get there. So anyway, thank you. Have a lovely rest of your day and we'll chat soon. Well, I already said goodbye and signed off and all that, but there's one more thing I want to say, and that is back to our little toddler analogy. So when the little toddler's been throwing a huge tantrum and getting rewarded with a treat, it reinforces that behavior, as we discussed. And so I am fully prepared for lots more tantrums trying to get that treat. So I'm prepared for my urges to come on strong, and I've had some today. Nothing crazy yet, but I know it's going to get crazy. But I need to think of it like if I'm treating my toddler, I need this to stop. I'm not going to give in. And so eventually those tantrums will go away and I'll be very, very happy for that day. But until then, I'm strong enough to withstand it. Okay, now that's really the last thing. Talk to you later. Okay, I lied. One more thing. So in retrospect, that binge that I had yesterday, if we're rating how bad a binge can be, that wasn't even that bad. It was probably like 2,000 calories worth of food. I've had much worse, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 calories. I wasn't even I didn't have a stomach ache or anything, okay? Now, it was still terrible, but the problem isn't the amount of food. The problem is the emotional struggle, the hiding, the secrets, the messing up my relationships so I can binge eat in secret. That's the thing that was the final straw. And so I don't know, that's not really important, but I felt like I needed to share it. So there you go.